Anderson Roofing and Contracting is your commercial, multifamily, and residential partners in construction, maintenance, and repair in Texas. Based in Flower Mound for more than 20 years, Anderson Roofing and Contracting is family-owned and operated, and their reputation means everything to them. They're licensed and insured, and they stand behind every project they're a part of. That's why they have an A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, and they've been voted the best roofer in the Best of Denton County 7 times. Request your free inspection and estimate today at AndersonRoofsTexas.com. That's Anderson, R-O-O-F-S, Texas.com.
Strittmatter Plumbing, Heating, and AC is your #1 choice for all your heating, cooling, and plumbing repairs in the Denton County area. Family owned and operated for over 40 years, Strittmatters is proud to support these high school athletes because giving back to their community is at the heart of everything they do. They stand behind their work with a 100% satisfaction guarantee or your money back. Strittmatters offers free second opinions and no-cost estimates, and 7 to 8 is the same great rate 7 days a week. No overtime charges ever. When it matters most, call Strittmatters. Online at strittmatters.com.
Thinking of buying or selling your home? Lisa Morris and Shannon Piper with the Cloud Realty team have been serving the DFW area for over 15 years. They specialize in residential buying, residential selling, and work with investors all over the Metroplex. Call them today at 469-300-1109 or go to txcloudrealty.com and check out their 5-star reviews. Contact Lisa and Shannon today to find your next dream home.
Rapid Med Urgent Care Center in Highland Village provides Southern Denton County families with state-of-the-art emergency medical care right in your neighborhood. From checkups to broken bones, school vaccinations, sports physicals, and more, you can count on Rapid Med for all of your medical needs. Rapid Med is proud to provide the latest in concussion management through the IMPACT program in partnership with the Texas Health Sports Network. Rapid Med Urgent Care Center is dedicated to providing you with quality care quickly. Visit rapidmed.com.
Hey, Jaguar fans, John Piper back with head coach Brian Basil on another segment of Jag Nation football. Man, Coach, it's so good to be talking Texas high school football, especially Jaguar football, as we record this segment, actually for week 2 of action. Hard to believe you got week 1 underway on the road at McKinney Boyd. How you doing this Sunday afternoon?
Doing good. Doing really good. You know, you start out and get that first win out of the way, and plan on Thursday, get a little extra day to get recovered. So weather's great. It's nice to be in on a beautiful Sunday and then getting ready to get through another week.
Coach Basil, always great to get the first game of the season in the book, especially with the win. You're on the road at McKinney ISD Stadium. What was the atmosphere like, heading into that big, beautiful stadium and, the presence of your team and just rolling off the bus? Was everybody pretty jacked up as they rolled into McKinney ISD Stadium?
Yeah, we were excited to get to play. Last week, of course, we played sub-varsity games on Wednesday, and that was one of the funnest days we've had in a while, just getting out to go play and finally the lights turn on, the scoreboard's on, and kids are out there competing, getting on the bus on Thursday and rolling up to the stadium. We told them that we're going to get to play here, at some point in time. And I know it was a month later, but it still felt like a first week feels. And there's excitement and a lot of new kids. Of course, we're a young team. We have a lot of kids getting their experience for the first varsity football game. And then rolling up that McKinney ISD Stadium is beautiful. What a privilege it was to get to play there and pulling up that stadium and walking under the tunnel out on the field was really neat experience. So it was finally nice to start kicking it off and crowd in the stands, pretty good crowd. A lot of differences with some of the protocols and everything, but it was a high school football game and it had that feel to it. It was a lot of fun.
Did you have to change up any of the pregame routine due to the COVID protocols? How soon you could get to the stadium or any special protocol that maybe was put on you by the McKinney ISD?
Nothing really on our end. I know as far as with distancing guidelines and limited ticketing and that sort of thing, that was really from a fan standpoint. was different for us. The biggest thing is just really getting kids to where there's seating assignments on the buses and sitting them. We're fortunate we're able to get buses to keep them far enough apart from each other to limit that close contact. But as far as when we got there and the routine, other than making sure that they're spread out in the locker rooms, making sure that they're wearing their mask, making sure that they have their water jugs because they have to have their own water with them, or they can refill them. Our trainers have done such a good job of having some procedures in place. So other than those, of course, those things, we've been doing that all along. But in terms of the routine, really nothing really any majorly different. I think the biggest thing is that when you take the field, there's not the helmet run through. There's a lot of places that are limiting number of people on the field, and plus with the helmet run through, you got to get them all packed in there together underneath before you take the field. So, things that encourage them to stay spread out and limit close contact are there, but those are minor. I mean, overall, we had similar routine from what we've had in the past, and the biggest thing during the game that is a lot different. This is my 25th year, and this is the first game where now they've extended that sideline box from the 10-yard line to the 10-yard line. Normally, it's from the 25 to the 25. So we had some situations where we're down there in the red zone where we can actually get down there almost to the end zone, which is a lot different. You're conditioned to not go past that 25-yard line. You're just, you don't want to get a sideline penalty or anything else like that. Well, now being able to get down there a little bit further was one of the biggest things that was different in terms of game management. But really wasn't a whole lot of other things that, once we got into the game, you're calling plays and making adjustments and doing those things. But it was, I think a lot of things have already been built in because since the summer we've been wearing masks and keeping our distancing where appropriate. And, that those things were built into some habits that I think just carried over into that game.
Well, hopefully this will be the last coaches show we'll talk about COVID. I'll try to hold up to that. As something happens, there's a team that has to cancel or something. But I think it was great to get back out on the field Thursday. I know everybody's great to get back to some normalcy, and we hope that continues this week as well, Coach. And, you mentioned last week during our preseason show, one of the big question marks going into this season would be your offense. You lost many starters to graduation. We discussed how your defense may have to carry you for a few weeks, and boy, did they ever. They came up big, only allowing 7 points. Have you had a chance to really break down the game film yet, or is that something you'll do later this afternoon?
Yeah, we did. Spent a lot of time on Friday watching it and going over a few times. We watch it and grade it out, then we'll watch it again with our players. So we've spent a lot of time with it. We were very pleased with the performance, especially of a lot of young guys coming out and getting their first varsity action. There's certainly things that, just like any first game, where there were some mistakes made, and that's especially not having spring football and with the limited time that we've had for preparations. Overall, we were really pleased with a lot of things we saw. A lot of determined, gritty effort. McKinney Boyd was somebody we were really impressed with coming in, just from what they had coming back from last year, what they were able to do last year, what we saw in the scrimmage them do against a good Jesuit team. Those things were, we knew we had some matchup issues that we were concerned about, particularly with their defensive line and our offensive line, but just a real gritty performance from those guys. And it's a good starting point for us. I think if there's some things we can get corrected and make those improvements, we're going to improve a lot in a hurry.
Well, the defense held McKinney Boyd to only 168 total yards of offense and only 5 first downs. Early in the game, in the first quarter, Coach, they were on the 3-yard line getting ready to strike first, but you came up big and forced a fumble turnover. Was that just a big momentum change that really kind of set the tone for the rest of the game, even though it was a low-scoring affair?
Yeah, it certainly was. The kids just dug their nose in there and held them out. I think it was either second or third down that we got the takeaway, but we really emphasized that on defense, and they did a good job as far as being aggressive to the football and physical and running the ball. That gives you opportunities to get the ball on the ground and get on it. But yeah, when you get that, it does change momentum there pretty quick. And we had a couple key situations we were able to get those takeaways, which is really huge.
Well, Coach, just stay on the defensive side just for a little bit here. Big Stone Eby came up big again. I believe 9 tackles, a couple tackles for loss. I came up with a couple big sacks. What can you say about your senior leader there, anchoring that defensive unit?
Yeah, well, you have a guy like that just plays hard all the time. Those guys follow his lead just because they respect him so much, and he did a great job during the game being a leader for us. He's a great competitor, a great leader, but he really takes the time and he cares about helping those other guys out that are with them. He'll talk to them, especially those younger D linemen, and wants to do things to help them out. He played big. Colton Votney, our defensive tackle, they played so hard, and that's when you watch film, it's good for those younger guys to see just how from every play of the game, from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, their effort never changes. They just go 100 miles an hour, and whether they make a play or not, sometimes Colton is getting double teamed there, and our Mike linebacker makes a play, and sometimes they come off from Mike linebacker a little quicker, and he's making a play. So those guys understand their job and their responsibilities, but when you look at a guy like Stone, he's been a 3-year varsity guy, and being in those games, he never panics, and those guys feed off of that presence.
Well, hey, I happen to run into, everything we do is all about the community. At my local church, run into one of your former players, Riley Stry, and obviously his brother Bentley as your nose tackle. And I can tell you, Bentley had a smile on his face this morning that you only see coming from, a high school football player after a Thursday night win. So that was good to see. What can you say about Bentley there at the nose tackle?
Yeah, Bentley had a great game. He's got a lightning quick ball get off. Not the prototypical 275-pound nose that you see sometimes. He makes up for it just with his ball get off and just never quits. I mean, there are times he's getting double teamed and just continues to fight and scrape and claw and do everything he can. He got that the fumble recovery you mentioned, that first one down on the 3-yard line. He was the one who got it, and he just always in a good spot. That comes from being a smart player and studying film and just playing every snap as hard as you can play. We're excited about the job that he did on Thursday for us.
The quarterback position was kind of up for grabs. You had a competition. You end up going with Nick Evers, and he had a terrific night passing, 19 for 23, 221 yards, very efficient, and really the play that broke McKinney Boyd's back was a 75-yard touchdown pass, and man, you can't ask for much more out of a quarterback on first night of varsity play on the road.
Well, we're really, really excited about a lot of things that Nick did. Like as I mentioned before, we had 5 new starters on the offensive line. Their defensive line, their defensive front is really their strong point. They're really good. And those are our offensive linemen. They really did a good job as far as, for what they were tasked with, and Nick took some shots. We had some problems at times giving him some time to throw, but he made really good decisions with the football. There are times where rather than forcing something, he pulled it down and ran with it. I think he was on scrambling ability. I don't know as far as what his total yardage ended up. His rushing yardage when you get some sacks like we had, it goes into some of those minus yardage. But overall, I mean, when he pulled it down and ran, he made some positive plays for us. And he was patient with those guys. He was when you're at that position, get your first varsity start, there's going to be some butterflies for sure, but you couldn't tell. He looked like he'd been doing it all along, and even when things weren't going good, he got guy made a good play on coming off the edge, and got a sack and a fumble, and he came off, but it never wavered. Came back and just did a good job for us, made some big time throws. When we gave him time to throw, we were able to give him time. He put the ball exactly where it needed to be. He made a great throw to Landon Widener and a great catch there by Landon. Had another big time throw to Isaac Carpenter. And I was proud of Seals receivers, and when they get their hands on the ball, they're going to compete for it. And Nick really did a good job. He'll just like everybody else after that first taste of the varsity action and the speed of the game and how things progress and move, he's going to get settled in just more and more every week. But we were really excited about what we saw out of him.
Well, your running game, you knew coming in with these young offensive linemen, that was going to be a question mark. You didn't quite establish the running game like you'd hoped. What are going to be some of the changes you have to make coming up this week against Naaman Forrest to get a little more prolific ground game attack going?
Well, yeah, we've obviously with what we do, a lot of the run game is a numbers game. When you put 7 in the box with 5 offensive linemen and a running back, then obviously you're going to have to throw it a little bit, and that's where our perimeter game and our quick screens and our bubbles and a lot of that stuff comes into play. And of course, being able to take some shots a little bit downfield, like we're able to do, that all helps. So we've really got to protect Nick and give him time to throw and be able to get it out. So we make them have to play a little bit more honest and get people out of the box. And then we had some third down situations where 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3, where you got to run the ball and you got to be able to get that. We use Stone a little bit as a guy. Sometimes it's just personnel and getting a little bit more size in there to open up that running game. Of course, just like anything else, you got a couple new guys in there, running backs that are getting their first taste as well. Andrew Moss did a good job. There's later in the game as our conditioning level feel like makes a difference, then you're getting a few more yards there. But they were really good up front. That's one of the biggest things. You got 5 new offensive linemen in there. We had Caden Jensen. We just moved him to center. Sophomore player. He had been playing some of our H-back for us, and we needed a little bit more size in there, a little more consistency with our snaps, and he did a good job with it. So those guys will continue to get better and better. Also, we missed a few assignments. We're not real big. We'll get Nate Adams back this week. Nate is a 2-time or a returning. Will be a 3-year starter, returning all-district player for us. It'll make a difference getting some size back there with him. But those are just a few things with the run game. We got to get our run game going. We believe in that as good as Nick did throwing the ball, and we were able to hit a few home runs, but we feel like we've got to be able to establish that run game a little better.
Yeah, very difficult to replace a player like Pierce Hudgens. You lost last year to graduation. He's one of your go-to guys and team leaders, both carrying the ball or catching it out of the backfield. And be good to have some players step up and fill that role. Well, Coach, let's talk about you're heading on the road again, playing Garland Naaman Forrest. Probably not a whole lot of film out there. They were 4-7 last season. Anything that you've been able to pick up in any scouting reports or anything that you'll be able to kind of lean towards in your scheming against Naaman Forrest?
Well, Coach Prowse will be his second year there. Last year they got off to a little bit of a slow start and then really turned it on and made the playoffs. They've got a ton of players coming back. So having an off season with those guys and experience they have coming back, they're really going to be a good team. They didn't have a week 1 game. They scrimmaged last week, so we'll be their first game. It's at their home stadium, so they're going to be fired up for that first game, and it's going to be another good test for our team coming in. Going into enemy territory and playing a good team. They're athletic. They play pretty. Take pride in playing physical and doing some of that. So we're really going to have to be prepared for that.
Yeah, a couple of players to watch for Naaman Forrest. Wide receiver, defensive end, Devion Deal, 6'4", 225-pounder, Coach. And then tight end, defensive tackle, Tommy Dunn, 6'3", 275-pounder. And then a big offensive lineman, Will Cabana, 6'3", 285. So they've got some talent there on that team. And anytime you're facing off in a 6A Texas high school football game, you're going to run into some future stars in the making.
Yeah, they've got some size. Of course, coming back with some experience that they've had, something we're really going to have a plan for. Their defensive end, good player, reminds us a lot of Stone, and they'll utilize him some on offense too. So we've got to have a good game plan to factor in that size advantage that they're going to have.
Coach Basil, what will be the keys to success for another Flower Mound victory over Naaman Forrest this week?
Well, we've got to establish our run game. We talked about that, and I think that's something that we're really focused on this weekend. And there's some things that just by nature that are going to help that come along. And we showed last week that playing good sound fundamental football is really going to make a difference. Taking care of the football, creating some takeaways, doing a really great job in special teams the other night. As young as we are, having Bert Auburn back there, another 3-year starter, just doing a great job. He hit a big 47-yard field goal and hitting a 38-yard average on punts, handling kickoffs for us. That really makes a difference, especially early on. You get a team that's playing their first game like Naaman is. A lot of times that the special teams plays are areas where that can be a factor for you in the football game. So being able to run the ball, just playing good, sound, fundamental football, just not beating ourselves with mistakes. I think that's one of the things that's really going to be important early on. We're going to still make a lot of improvements with the young guys that we've had. We told them at halftime, I think we had 44 players that participated in their first varsity football game. So at halftime, we told them, you're not rookies anymore. You got to grow up in a hurry and got a taste of it. So that'll be important for us to take another big step this week.
You mentioned Bert Auburn. Special teams play such a key role in success on Thursday or Friday nights. And, he was a big contributor last season for you. But like you mentioned, you asked him to have to punt 9 times on Thursday night and came up big. Like you said, averaging 38 yards a punt. Pretty special Texas high school football. Yeah,
that was just it's understated how important that is. And people talk about special teams and field position and hidden yardage and all those things. But sometimes it's something you talk about, but we're very fortunate to have a kid like him that just comes in and does his job. And our players and coaches really appreciate him. They had they had a punter who was really outstanding also. And so Bert had to really match him. And there were times there, especially in the first half, we were just flipping field position and 3 and outs and punting and 3 and out and punting. So it's nice to have a guy like Bert that you can count on, and he's steady. You're going to get out, and that's just a testament to how hard he prepares.
Well, Coach, one of the benefits of playing on Thursday night is you get an extra day on the weekend, and we were talking just a moment ago. College football's in full swing. A lot of great games yesterday, and you had a chance to go visit your son Caden, who played for you last season, as well as the Flower Mound baseball team, and had a little family trip down to College Station, and Texas A&M took on Vanderbilt and got the W there as well. Tell us a little bit about College Station and the whole Texas A&M college experience.
Yeah, well, we had planned we looked at this weekend, and we knew they were going to be playing the first home game. It worked out for us playing a Thursday night game early on in the year. We were able to get all of our film work done on Friday, and this time of year when you start out, it's good to be able to take advantage of giving our coaches and our players that Saturday off. Usually we're coming in on Saturday watching film, but playing on Thursday night, we're able to get all that done on Friday. So we headed out Friday evening after we were all done up here and got down there. And it's always good when for everyone who's had a kid go off to college, and especially their freshman year, it's it's good to know that they're at a place that they really enjoy, that they're getting settled in. We're excited to get down there and see him. It was nice to be able to spend a little time with him. And we had some other friends down there also that we were able to catch up with and see. And there's nothing better than being in a college town in a home football game, or just the energy that exists there. Of course, like everything else, there's some differences with COVID and with guidelines, and there's when tailgating or the crowd capacity. You got Kyle Field that seats normally 102,000 people, and I think they had about 25,000 in there. So, but it's a college football game. You still feel the energy, and of course, a place like A&M, there's so many traditions, and just being around there for that, being a part of it was a lot of fun. It was a good trip to get down there and see him. He got to go to the game, with a group of his friends. So, he enjoyed that, and we were able to spend some good time. My daughter's able to go with us, so good family time, good family bond. Get all four of us together again, and being together whether it's in Flower Mound or College Station, whatever it is. It's good to be able to have that time together. So we had a great time with it. Got in the car this morning, headed back, and we're back in breaking down film and getting game plans ready to go for another big week.
Well, Coach Basil, thank you so much for joining me on this segment of Jag Nation Football, and good luck against Naaman Forrest.
All right. Thanks, John. We appreciate it.